Welcome to this comprehensive and immersive examination of the prophetic revelations found within the ancient book of Habakkuk today. We are embarking on a profound spiritual journey that explores the timeless tension between human suffering and divine sovereignty in our world. The prophet Habakkuk provides us with a raw and honest template for bringing our deepest questions and grievances before the Creator of all things. Let us now step into the dusty streets of ancient Judah to witness a dialogue that has echoed through the corridors of time. The streets of Jerusalem were filled with the echoes of injustice and the heavy weight of social despair during those ancient days. Every corner of the city seemed to reflect the unraveling of the social fabric that once held the nation together in peace. The prophet Habakkuk cried out for help while witnessing the pervasive corruption that seemed to go unchecked by the heavens above. God replied with a startling revelation concerning the rise of the fierce and impetuous Chaldean nation as an instrument of divine judgment. This news brought even greater confusion to the prophet, who could not understand why a holy God would use a more wicked people to punish his own. He decided to station himself upon the watchtower to wait for a second answer that would address the deep turmoil within his questioning soul. The revelation spoke of a power that would rise from the east, a nation known for its strength and its ruthless pursuit of conquest. The pillars of the ancient world were shaking as the pride of man was brought low by the weight of eternal truth. Every monument to human achievement was destined to return to the dust of the earth. The heavy burden of labor and the weight of oppression were felt by all who fell under the shadow of the Chaldean Empire's expansion. Across the vast and unforgiving wilderness, the sounds of war approached, carried on the wings of a dry and dusty wind. The prophet looked upon the crumbling walls of ancient cities and wondered if his own beloved Jerusalem was destined for a similar fate. In the midst of the gathering storm, Habakkuk sought a higher perspective, looking for a sign of divine presence in the dark clouds. He took his pen and began to record the vision, making it plain so that all who read it might understand the gravity of the coming days. Within the hallowed halls of the temple, a single ray of light pierced the gloom, a reminder that the glory of the Lord still resided in the earth. A great assembly gathered in the square, their eyes fixed on the heavens as they offered their collective cries for mercy and intervention. The words of the covenant were etched in stone, an eternal testimony to the justice that would eventually prevail over the pride of man. The waves of judgment crashed against the shores of the nation, a relentless force that no human power could hope to withstand. Within the quiet sanctuary of the archives, the ancient wisdom of the fathers was preserved for a generation that had lost its way. The fields lay barren and the vines were withered, a physical manifestation of the spiritual drought that had overtaken the land. A remnant of the faithful stood on the heights, waiting for the first light of a new dawn to break through the darkness. The scales of divine justice were being balanced, weighing the deeds of the proud against the eternal standards of the Holy One. The walls that once provided security were now crumbling under the pressure of an advancing army sent to execute judgment. The waters of life had become a mere trickle in the courtyard, yet the promise of a future overflowing spring remained. In the midst of the valley, a song of praise began to rise, a melody of trust that blossomed even in the face of despair. A bridge was being built across the chasm of doubt, connecting the heart of man to the unchanging character of God. The silent idols of gold and wood stood rebuked by the presence of the living God who alone holds the breath of all creation. The majesty of the Creator was displayed in the towering peaks and the swirling clouds, a testament to the power that governs the universe. The earth trembled and the depths were revealed as the light of divine justice began to break through the cracks of human history. In a moment of cosmic significance, the sun and the moon stood still, bearing witness to the unfolding of a grand and eternal design. Arrows of divine revelation shot through the darkness, illuminating the path for those who sought the truth in a world of shadows. A way was made where there was no way, as the faithful were led through the chaos toward a future of hope and restoration. From the heights of faith, the prophet looked out upon a valley of peace, where the waters of grace flowed freely for all. The sounds of the lyre filled the courtyard, a song of praise that resonated with the heartbeat of a heart transformed by trust. Though the harvest may tarry, the promise of abundance remains, as certain as the swaying of the wheat in the gentle breeze. Our feet are made like the feet of a deer, enabling us to stand firm on the high places of spiritual victory even in the storm. The timeless truths of the ancient prophet continue to reflect in the glass and steel of our modern world, reaching through the ages. Woe to him who piles up stolen goods and makes himself wealthy by extortion in the dark places of the earth. The greed of man is a bottomless pit that consumes the soul and leaves behind a legacy of emptiness and despair. Woe to him who builds a city with bloodshed and establishes a town by injustice and the labor of the poor. The foundations of such a kingdom are laid in the tears of the oppressed and will not stand the test of time. The stones of the wall will cry out, and the beams of the woodwork will echo the crimes committed in the streets. No secret is hidden from the eyes of the one who weighs the hearts of all who walk upon the face of the earth. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. A day is coming when the darkness will be banished, and the light of truth will shine in every corner of creation. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence and stand in awe before him. In the stillness of the night, we hear the whisper of eternity and find our place within the grand design of the Almighty. Though the fig tree does not blossom and there are no grapes on the vines, I will yet rejoice in my God. Faith is the ability to see the harvest in the seed and the promise in the winter's frost. The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer and enables me to tread on heights. We ascend the mountains of faith with the courage of those who know that the victory is already won in the heavens. We are pilgrims on a dusty road, following the light of a promise that leads us toward an eternal home. Every step is a testament to the trust we place in the one who guides our journey through the wilderness of life. In the quiet garden of the soul, the peace of God begins to flow like a stream, refreshing the weary spirit. We find restoration in the presence of the Creator, who makes all things new in his perfect and holy timing. Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, so that he who runs may read it and find direction. The word of the Lord is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path in the midst of a world filled with confusion. The hands of the potter shape the clay with a deliberate and intentional touch, a metaphor for the divine sovereignty that molds the destiny of nations. Every turn of the wheel brings us closer to the realization of a grander design that we may not fully perceive in the moment. As the sun rises over the horizon, the laborers gather the harvest with a sense of purpose and a commitment to the preservation of life. The fields are white for harvest, and the rewards of faithful service are being brought into the storehouses of eternity. The lanterns flicker at the gates of the city, where the watchmen remain vigilant against the approach of the shadows that threaten the peace of the people. There is a quiet confidence in the air, a trust that the morning light will surely return to banish the darkness once and for all. We see as in a mirror dimly, but the time is coming when we shall see clearly the face of the one who has guided our every step through the corridors of history. The reflection of truth is found in the stillness of a heart that has learned to wait upon the Lord with patience. The mist clings to the valleys and the ruins of the past, yet the rising sun promises a new day of clarity and restoration for the weary and the heavy laden. We find hope in the persistence of the light, which refuses to be extinguished by the cold and the damp of the night. The elders gather in the courtyard to discuss the ancient words of the prophet, finding strength and wisdom in the timeless truths that have sustained their fathers through every generation. Their voices join in a chorus of faith that resonates with the heartbeat of the divine purpose. A single drop of water creates ripples that spread across the surface of the pool, a symbol of the influence that one faithful life can have upon the entire world. The impact of a heart fully committed to the truth is measured in the waves of change that it sets in motion. The beacon fire burns brightly on the cliffside, a guide for those navigating the stormy seas of life, and a warning to those who would stray from the path of righteousness. It is a symbol of the enduring presence of the Word, which shines as a light in the darkness for all to see. The fields of purple lavender sway in the gentle breeze of the sunset, a visual representation of the peace that surpasses all human understanding and guards our hearts. We find rest in the beauty of the creation, which speaks of the goodness and the mercy of the Creator in every petal. Within the walls of the ancient library, the pursuit of truth continues with a renewed passion and a deep respect for the wisdom of the ages. The echoes of the past join with the voices of the present to create a harmony of understanding that leads us toward the future with confidence. The voice of the prophet echoed through the stone amphitheater, reaching the ears of a multitude who were hungry for a word of hope in a season of great darkness. Every syllable was a seed of faith planted in the fertile soil of a heart that was ready to believe in the impossible. A single coin of gold, though small, represented the vast wealth and the deep corruption that had poisoned the spring of justice in the land of Judah. The allure of material gain had led many away from the path of righteousness and into the service of silent and empty idols. Footprints in the sand mark the path of a lone traveler who walks by faith and not by sight, trusting in the guidance of the one who knows the end from the beginning. Every step is a prayer, a testament to the endurance of a soul that has found its rest in the promises of God. The stone bridge stands as a symbol of the connection between the past and the future, a path that has been trodden by the faithful through every age of human history. The calm waters below reflect the peace that comes to those who have learned to trust in the sovereign grace of the Lord. In the golden light of dawn, a circle of the faithful stands in the midst of the wheat, holding hands in a gesture of unity and shared hope for the coming harvest. Their presence is a powerful reminder that we are never alone in our journey of faith through the world. A small oil lamp flickers in the window, a beacon of light in a city that has been overtaken by the shadows of despair and the silence of the heavens. It is a sign of life, a promise that the darkness will not have the final word in the story of the prophet's people. The building of the wall continues with a relentless pace, a massive undertaking that requires the labor and the sacrifice of many who seek security in the work of their own hands. Yet the true foundation of safety is not found in stone and mortar, but in the character of the divine. The valley is filled with the fragrance of blooming almond trees, a sign of rebirth and a promise of the restoration that will surely follow the season of judgment. We find hope in the cycles of nature, which testify to the faithfulness and the goodness of the one who makes all things new. A hand places a stone on the cairn, a memorial to the faithfulness of God in the midst of the desert and the trials of the journey toward the promised land. Every stone is a story of a victory won and a promise kept by the one who never slumbers nor sleeps. The ancient tree stands tall against the setting sun, its deep roots and spreading branches a symbol of the strength and the endurance of a life that is rooted in the truth. We find rest in its shadow, a place of peace and a sanctuary for the soul that has found its home in God. As we conclude our 10-minute exploration of this remarkable book, I hope you have found deep inspiration in the prophet's journey. The message of Habakkuk is a powerful reminder that our faith is not determined by our circumstances, but by our trust in God. May you carry the courage of the prophet with you as you face your own challenges and questions in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you for your presence today, and may you walk forward with a heart full of hope and a spirit of unwavering faith.